motion to open the meeting.
So moved, 7 o'clock.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, so we've already covered approval of the agenda. Public comments on agenda items. Is there anyone that wanted to speak on the public hearings that still here that didn't realize that was their opportunity to speak? Or they all, everybody leave? You're good? Okay. Anybody else, public comments on agenda items? Okay, approval of the minutes, dated July 29th, 2025.
Motion to approve is presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm
Motion
abstaining.
carried. Okay. Communications, correspondence workshop, none. Old business, none. New business. So our first item is Macomb Automotive Special Land Use, New and Used Vehicle Sales, 58025 Gratiot Ave, New Haven, Michigan 48048, parcels 260633276035 and 260633276038. So I'll give this to Dave and then Savannah for an update on where we're at with those items. Are you good?
Yeah, good. Walk through if you like.
Okay.
You have a review in front of you. It's quite lengthy. I think the review goes 9 pages, but it's actually 3 separate reviews in there. One is your special land use standards have to be met. The second item is the general site plan review standards to be met. And the third item is any type of vehicle sales, outdoor sales, has another set of criteria, more detailed set of criteria that have to be met. So I'm going to walk through these. I'll just highlight the items that need some attention. I am probably I'm going to start with page 2 of my review. From a zoning ordinance, in terms of special land use, we've reviewed the zoning ordinance. There's some submission items that are still missing from the site plan. We need those in order to make at least recommendation. One is we either need exterior lighting photometric plan with details, or else a note on the site plan saying there are no exterior lighting, so we can be sure when we see this final plan. The second is if they have outdoor waste storage with screening details, must be provided or noted as this not being used. Third item is any type of transformers or exterior equipment must have screening details on the plan or also noted as not being used. The fourth is a loading unloading zone must be shown on the plan. And the last item, or actually second to last item, is even though the building's not changing, you still have to see what the building setbacks are to see if we're dealing with a non-conforming building or not. The final area is a landscape plan is needed to be reviewed. Even though it might not totally be appropriate, there are requirements for interior landscaping, parking lot landscaping, perimeter landscaping along Gratiot, and also landscape buffer or buffer strip or screen wall adjacent to the light industrial district. The note on the site plan that came in said no exterior landscaping is needed. We disagree with that note. Item 2 on page 3 of my review, specific standards applicable to outdoor sales are discussed later. We'll get to that. Number 3 is the future land use map. This is properly designated on the future land use map. The 4 is the use will be designed and located so it's compatible with surrounding properties. And we do point out compatibility is possible, but it is dependent on visual items such as landscaping, signage, maintenance, and operational aspects such as lighting, noise, and vehicle delivery that we have to keep in mind. The 5th item is ingress and egress. We do point out that direct access to the site exists from Gratiot Avenue 2 locations. We do point out also transports, delivering, or moving vehicles must operate on the subject property, not from the public right of way. And then the final comment we have on this is so that the engineer may have more technical issues he might bring up there in his review. Okay. I'm on page 4 of my review. We do have screening and buffering criteria on item 6. And we point out the site plan states that landscape is not required. However, I'm going through the ordinance, I did not see anywhere in there say the opposite. So we're assuming that it is required. Nothing ever said, didn't say anything about nothing is accepted. Item 5 is use shall be properly served by utilities. We're going to defer to Sermat and Dan or somebody. Marcus is here, somebody from DPW to make sure we got enough utilities. 4th is use shall not have an adverse impact on the environment beyond the impacts which be anticipated by other permitted uses. We don't expect adverse impacts as long as they follow performance standards, as noise, loading, traffic in their exterior lighting. We do recognize that with a lot of vehicles, there's releases of oil or volatile fluids on the ground. We have to make sure that's not taken care of. And I believe that Sir Medna can get into that in more detail. 9 is there are performance standards. Everything I've talked about before, so we don't have any detrimental effects on the surrounding properties. Then we have a list in the ordinance, 515-90 that has to be maintained. 10 is almost the same. It used to be designed, located, operated to minimize negative impacts on surrounding properties and the right-of-way. We have number 11, for special land uses, use shall not impose an unreasonable burden on public service. Then we'll leave to the others, they're experts in that. That's for the special land use that we have to get through. That's where it's going to play. The next one is site plan review. That's section 515-100D has a list of information that you provided in order to make a proper determination. In terms of bulk requirements, since there are no building being changed, bulk requirements do not affect this in way into setbacks and things like that. There's really no effect. Parking and loading, we do need to see a dimension floor plan to see how much dedicated parking has to be to customers as opposed to parking for the use itself for the vehicles that are being sold, display vehicles. We do need to see a dimension of the ADA accessible space, make sure it's a proper size, and we do need to see the location and size of the loadings that we talked about. We didn't see any items from a zoning standpoint for site access and circulation. Utilities and stormwater management, again from zoning, no issues. Landscaping and screening, we couldn't even comment to be a landscape plan showing what's going on. There are lower requirements. As with other items, the planning commission can look at a landscape plan and decide whether they want to waive or modify any of the requirements, but they need a plan to see that first. Lighting, we do not see a photometric plan and exterior lighting details. Typically, lighting is common with these vehicle display areas. If there's no lighting proposed, we prefer to see a written note on the plan. That way down the road, if enforcement comes up, it's written in part of your record that no lighting is being used out there. I'm on page 7 of my review, dumpster enclosure. We need to show the dumpster, we have to provide a site plan to show where the dumpster enclosure is and get some details on the screening. Signage is no signage been proposed yet. If it does come, that will go through administrative review through the building official. Floor plans and elevations, we don't need anything from a zoning standpoint, anything very detailed. We just need to know what the floor area of the offices and some of the areas in there so we can calculate how much space we need dedicated to the parking. There's plenty of space there. We just want to make sure those spaces are dedicated correctly. On page 7, we're going through the final standards for outdoor sales. These are special standards dedicated towards anything sold outside, vehicles or not vehicles. An outdoor lighting plan shall specify the type of fixture to be used, light intensity and method of shielding a fixture so that light does not project on adjoining properties or on any public or private street or right-of-way. We don't see any outdoor lighting shown on the site plan, so we're not sure what we're dealing with right now. There shall be no festoon signs or pair of light bulbs permitted. We don't see anything on the site plan. We ask the commission to inquire with the applicant. Festoon signs, if you don't know, those flags and things that float around, anything that moves. C, no vehicles or merchandise for sale should be displayed within any required green belts, landform buffers, buffer strips, or other landscape or open space areas. I do see a lot of site plan actual straight parking areas for vehicles. And then the question from our end at this point is the applicant is asking if curbing will be used to prevent vehicles from intruding into landscape areas. D, addresses as for sub-items addressing loudspeakers or public address systems. They're usually not as common anymore, but we do ask the applicant to confirm that there will be such speakers. E is a landform buffer strip or screen wall with adjacent green belt shall be located on all property lines which abut district which permit residential uses. There is no residential zoning district around here, so it doesn't pertain. However, there is a requirement for fencing and such along Gratiot for landscaping and possibly eventual landscaping along the light industrial district to the rear. Right now, they're just showing existing chain link fence. The last item I got is the commission still has the authority to modify any requirements. That could be adding in this respect, not only waiving certain requirements, but you can add certain requirements if you think it's going to be detrimental to the surrounding property. And that's it for my review.
All right.
Ms. Cook?
Okay, I'm gonna go right over to Sir Med and have him give his feedback.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. In your package should have a copy of my August 18 review letter, and we can go over the highlights. We see quite a bit of deficiencies here. So we're going to skip actually the one item under general. These are two separate properties, and they're proposing as one business. They should be combined. That would be a requirement before final approval. Just like Dave mentioned, water main and sanitary should all fall under the DPW. We want to confirm that service utilities are adequate. Paving is a big item. They are proposing crushed compacted asphalt millings on the parking lot, and that is not an acceptable material by the village standard. It should be all 8-inch concrete or asphalt with 6-inch curb all around. And we have not seen any waivers or specific design for that facility. A simulation for access as far as fire truck maneuvering simulation is not provided, so we don't know if the geometry would work. That was missing from the packet. There is an existing approach on the north side, and there's a secondary proposed approach on the south side. That falls under MDOT, and we don't know if the separation is adequate for MDOT standards, so that falls under the MDOT permit that they should be applying for. Again, we will request all external agencies' approvals, but right now they do show a secondary. Just mirroring Dave's comment about the loading unloading is not provided. The vehicle storage area, we don't know what that is. They should be clarifying what that is. It's just parked there. Vehicles, or what is it? Stormwater and drainage, again, under the village current standards, they have to provide enclosed storm sewers to collect all the runoff with a detention either above or underground. He's filling the site completely, so I assume the only way to do that is is an underground detention pond. There's nothing proposed here, however, that is needed at the final stage. Of course, with an operation and maintenance agreement to be reviewed by the village. No landscaping or photometric plan was submitted. Should come into the planning commission for review and approval. At this time, we can't recommend approval because we have several items that are missing from the site plan and clarifications. And that's the bulk of our comments.
All right, thank you. Okay, so obviously to everyone, there's a lot going on here with this one and a lot to be done. So, did you have, this was placed on the agenda for the public hearing. If you have questions, feel free, but I feel like they're going to be working more with our planner and our engineer to advance where they're at this point. So, if you'd like to ask questions now, that's fine, they could be resolved. I actually do have one technical question with the lot combine. So, they came in for a special land use for both parcels. Should they be doing the combine first?
No,
Doesn't matter?
no, but they should understand that the final approval of the village is subject to the final combination of the parcel.
Right, I agree. Okay, so does anybody want to ask questions? We just want to table this until they're further along.
Yeah, I'd say table, because the questions might get answered
Yeah.
further down.
Okay, could I get a motion then for that?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second? Second for Lucy?
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yes.
Motion carried with one rejection. Okay, so moving on to the Lou Ackar Real Estate Special Land Use Vehicle Service Center at 59010 Gratiot Ave, New Haven, Michigan, 48048, formerly known as Red 8, parcel 260627300023. So, as mentioned, I was going to bring it up at this point, but it was brought up in the public hearing, so you're all aware. The gentleman who owns this property currently is in the process of selling this property, and it does look pretty solid from his perspective, and that it will be finalized in 2 weeks. He wasn't sure. We decided to go forward for the sake of he's paid for it, it's done. If something should fall through, then the step is done for him. However, he anticipates that the sale will take place, and it is to, I will share it just because it is to a credit union that has also expressed interest in the property. So they were both coming in at the same time to get feedback on the site. So they have also had a pre-planning meeting with our planner and our engineer and our fire department. So it would be we can discuss it if you'd like, but it sounds like it's not going to happen at this point in time.
What's not going to happen?
The service center. So he was pretty solid when he came in that it was a done deal. But it's just not finalized for 2 weeks. So it's not closed. So we went ahead with the public hearing for the sake of he's paid for it, it's done. If something does fall through, the
If
last
something falls through, we can just put it on the agenda.
Right.
There's
So-
no representative.
I mean, yes, he's not here. He didn't come, he asked if he needed to be here. I said, well, for your selling property. So no need to answer any questions, we can table it if he needs to.
I'm just a little confused. You keep saying that selling, we're referring to,
So currently, the Lou Ackar Real Estate owns the property Rite Aid.
okay, they own it.
Yes, and they are selling it to Extra Credit Union.
Okay.
And that sale has been.
I have a question.
Sure. Sure.
If the sale doesn't go through, okay, and they want to continue with what the planners reviewed of their drawings, would there be another special use, land use meeting scheduled then?
There would not be another public hearing, but they will continue to have to come before to meet the requirements that are necessary for their moving forward. So, like the stuff that you stipulated, the stuff that you mentioned, yes, they're gonna have to come in and meet those requirements. They've just pulled the whole project back.
I understand, I just,
Can we stipulate he gets notified because he's a
Oh,
adjacent owner? That's what you want. You want to know when it happens so that you can.
Okay.
yeah, if the sale goes through, okay, you know, no big deal, you know, okay, but if it doesn't go through, okay, you know, yeah, I would like to be notified because of, I mean, one is, I guess my question is, let me refresh my question. One is, this was a special land use note, okay? I didn't see anything about a variance, okay, all right? Based on what I showed the planner, okay, I showed deficiencies, okay, in their proposal, okay, if you would. Okay? So what I'm saying is, if this body was looking to give them a variance for what they're looking to do, I would like to still be able to come present my argument why it shouldn't be, okay, and you guys can still decide what you want to do, okay, or whatever, all right? But I don't know how that works.
go ahead.
Can I step in?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, I was just reading your law. Another notice wouldn't go out for the special land use, okay, for the public hearing. You got it, you could if you wanted to, but don't require it. Now, you're talking about a variance, that's a whole other body than this body. That's the zoning board of appeals. If they need a variance for something, they have to go from that body. That body is required by law to send in another notice.
Okay.
There's a variance.
All right.
So the bodies are there. We fulfilled our notification for this body.
I'm just trying to
Yeah,
understand
that's-
the New Haven, the village of New Haven, okay? I'm used to being here years and years ago, okay? So when I had the FOIA to get these drawings, okay, that was a whole new process, okay? And now what you're talking about is a whole new process that Chris and I can go back a long ways to say that wasn't the way it was. But that's fine, I'm just trying to comply with knowing what the new procedures are to make sure, because I don't come in front of the village council or the planning commission anymore, and it's like, you know, I don't know any of you people, I don't have a store anymore. When I had a store, you know, I knew everybody, okay, but I don't have a store anymore, all right? So anyway, I'm just trying to understand what the procedure is. And that, thanks, Dave, I appreciate it.
I will let the building department know that she's got your email over there.
Of course.
I'll make sure she notifies you of either the sale being finalized or the continuation of this,
All right, great,
okay?
thank you.
So Madam Chair, if it's on the agenda for review, do we want to go over comments or we don't have to?
I think table it. If it comes back up, I mean, we're gonna know by the next meeting. Yep. So I think to discuss something, he seemed pretty solid, so. Everybody in agreement?
Yes.
Motion to table, I can't say it, Dow Akar Real Estate Special Land Use Vehicle Center.
Second.
And I'd like to add to that as a body, we resend out all the notifications again if this thing comes back. Next month, 6 months.
That costs money.
Yeah, that's not.
That's not
That's not.
I'm just telling, that's what the fee for the special hearing or the public hearing is to pay for the notifications. I'm just saying.
I'm saying the village should pay, if this comes back in 6 months, we should pay to notify the people that it's back. I mean, you're talking about letters, right?
But that's my tax dollars,
I
you're
don't
not
think-
telling me to pay.
That's what I am saying.
Is that your motion?
That's part of my.
Then I
motion, that
take my
we-
second back.
We notify people that it comes back someday.
Okay, is there a second for that?
I'll support that.
Okay. Roll call.
Rob Pennell,
Yes.
Chris Dilbert,
Yes.
Genevieve Bronzik,
No.
Lucy Nolan Dilbert,
Yes.
Aileen Jones,
No.
Craig Sims.
No.
And Rachel is a no.
Is there another motion?
I'll make a motion to table the site plan.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Rachel Woodson is a yes. Craig Sims.
Yes.
Rob Pennell,
No.
Lucy Noel Hubbard,
No.
Amy Jones, what?
Yes.
Genevieve Broderick,
Yes.
and Chris Dilbert.
No.
Motion passes.
Okay, next is Wise Buys, which was on the agenda for special land use. And the reasons, as mentioned earlier, for those, I don't know if everybody was here, was we put it in as a special land use for resale and rentals, which we do not have in our zoning. So we have a couple options, which I am going to give today.
Yeah, we went through for the U-Haul business, per se, applies by that part of it. You have nothing in the ordinance that specifies how to regulate them, even where do you allow a U-Haul type business, any type of rental business. In these cases, legally, in these cases, there's a caveat in your special land use standard for the GB district, general business district. The planning commission can say, it has the ability to say, we think it's like this, if they want to come in front of us, they have to follow the same guidelines as what this, we think this use is. I went up and down to the GB ordinance, and the one that I thought is possibly nearly the same as the outdoor sales. But there does come with it paving requirements, landscape requirements, and things you have to do along with that. So as long, if you do that, you have to understand that we're going to be going through special standards to have everything done similar to what we had Macomb Auto look at. Well, we just went through, we go through the same process, the same requirements as those. I did not find, I did go through and I checked on Township's ordinance, Chesterfield's ordinance, and Lennox's ordinance, so they seem to have their rentals, could be enterprise rental car too, but it could be truck or car rentals. They seem to have them in the same location, kind of like a general business district, which is where it is right now. So long story short, we don't have anything, it's not specified, you have to determine, does it go there, does it go to a light industrial district? Where should this go? Or maybe not at all. There is a little, very little used part of zoning law states if someone can make an argument that there's a market for this, then we have to let them in someplace. So I kind of took that avenue, and then I followed through. The next logical decision is on this commission to see where would they have to go and what special ordinances should we follow in terms of design. So I just throwing that out for discussion.
There was that one part in the ordinance that says like, as close to,
Yes.
which is up to us. Do you have that open by chance? I'm sorry.
Let me go back to my,
There was some, they came before us a few years back, or they came before planning a few years back, and there was something that they were required to submit.
So for history on this, they have been to planning that we can tell in our records at least once, possibly twice, and we're to ZBA, and they were denied.
Okay.
And they went forward with the property. Yes,
Without getting them,
correct.
oh,
So, so what's been going on, and I think we probably discussed this, is our fire chief, I don't know if he's here, has been going around to all of these businesses and having them become, get C of Os, and for the C of Os, they need the compliance, or, you know, they need to bring the properties up. So this is one of those that was also getting looked at for other things, but that was a part of it. So they,
All the things you say, are you talking about the main business or the rental business?
the property, what is called property. So like easement violations and stuff and such, where you're parking your vehicles, how you're storing your vehicles. We have pursued other properties for similar violations, and we're keeping it all the same.
I I can appreciate that, but my question was, are you saying the violations are with the building and the current business, or the rental, the location of the rental vehicles? Or are you
I
considering
wouldn't
one
want
and the
to
same?
speak to that because I believe because they're trying to work with us, that those types of things have been put on hold.
Okay.
But I don't really, with not having Dan or Mark here, I don't really want to speak to the full
Okay.
circle of that.
Okay.
So we have to decide how we want to handle it. So if we redo an ordinance or just put them someplace, we could work them into compliance or out of compliance, which is clearly complicated. We don't want to do that. So one of the suggestions was that we have the automotive sales, the zoning for,
I got the ordinance up.
oh, you did get it? Can you read that last part?
Yeah, I'm looking at section 515-52, subsection V. It says uses which, in the opinion of the planning commission, based on findings of fact, are similar to the above permitted uses. Then you go through the GB and you read all the permitted uses and see if anything.
So it is,
Go to 515-52.
yeah, so the new and used vehicle sales is what we've come, and automobile sales is what we've come closest. Yes, accurate, Dave? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, so at least the closest I could find,
Yeah.
the nearest. Those are the permitted uses. If you go up this, go to the top, there, let's look at A. Go through, those are special uses, A through V are all the uses you have to have the public hearing, and you have to come through special standards in front of this commission to review. If you go up further, those are permitted principal uses. Those uses there do not need a public hearing. Those uses there come straight to this commission for site plan review and approval. So the difference between the two is if you pick out a use that's there, you're saying, okay, this use should be there, it was still has to be site plan review. You don't let it go without landscaping or lighting or anything. But if you get to the special land use section, pick out a use in there, what you're saying is, this use could work provided they follow all these discretionary, my review goes through all these items we have to discuss. If not, then it could be a detriment, but it could be a benefit. So it's kind of a judgmental thing. They allow very subjective discussion on that point, rather than just simply findings of fact.
And I will add too, did everybody receive the forwarded email on the waiver request that was sent out today? Did you receive that? Dave?
I just saw it on the way just outside when I was coming in.
It was sent very late in the day. I'll just read it. This letter is our request to receive a waiver use as site plan approval for the location referenced above. The August 18th, 2025 plan review letter by Tri-County Engineering Consultants references adding new paving and stormwater detention, among other issues as a condition of site plan approval. These stated requirements are treating our submittal as if this is a new development or a renovation, which it is not. The purpose of this submittal and waiver approval is to address the city's stated concern to the owner regarding the number of U-Haul vehicles and trailers displayed outside the existing fence line facing Gratiot. As indicated on our site plan sheet, we are proposing the parking of only 4 rental trucks of various size and only 2 storage trailers to be allowed outside the existing fence line. The balance of the inventory will be stored behind the existing fence line. Please note that our drawings submitted and dated July 15, 2025 do not indicate any new work to this existing site or building. All conditions are to remain as is, and we ask that the submittal be treated as a pre-existing non-conforming use. This is based on that no work is proposed to this site or building, and this business has been in use for the past 15 years as is. We ask that this continued use be allowed as is under Article, not conforming lots, uses and structures. It should also be noted that none of the current zoning districts use allowing truck rentals such as the existing U-Haul operation. For example, a pre-existing non-conforming issue is the current minimum required front yard setback of 35 feet in the general business district. According to the survey, the front yard setback is in fact 5 feet by 5 feet, which cannot be accomplished since it is considered as a pre-existing non-conforming use. We ask that the city treat this property as an existing property with no proposed changes and be allowed to continue its business operation as is. So, but again, I will note that they were denied the usage for this business in the past.
So it's never been approved as an existing, or he wants to treat it as existing, because he went ahead and did it anyways.
So that leaves us, they do require a special land use. How do we want to go forward with that? Do we want to redefine where we're putting rentals and such, or do we want to go as close as possible to what we have existing, which is the auto sales of new and used vehicles?
Could they present us with both options so we can sway them?
They can do it verbally, if you want to wait and come up with something in writing for you to look at next month. Whatever you prefer, I can do. I mean, that verbally, I mentioned that if there's a market for it, then you got to allow them someplace. I haven't seen a market study per se, but if they've got a business going, it kind of determines there's a market for it. Then now, so it's up to this commission to say, does it belong in GB? Either one, it doesn't belong anywhere in this village. Does it belong in a GB zone, or does it belong in another zoning district?
And I guess I'll add to just, by whatever we decide, it's setting a precedence for what we.
So if we approve it under what's existing, that then becomes, we can't look at this and for future use. We have to go with what we set with, correct? Could we be setting that precedence? Or can we change that after this is over?
We can change it going forward, right? But
I'm understanding the question.
I'm kind of,
So if we approve it under sticking it under car sales,
Yeah.
and it got approved under car sales, then all future rental would be using that as the template for the future.
That would be probably setting precedent that this is where you would determine where it should go.
Then to me, it seems like we should weigh those options to decide if that's where it belongs.
Where it belongs, yeah.
Because I don't have any kind of reference backwards to,
I personally would also like to get our attorney involved in this.
Just clarification,
Just for feedback,
yes,
guidance.
yes. So this is only zoning we're talking.
Right.
But in their letter, they're touching base on engineering also, which does not fall under zoning, it falls under the general law. So you have the authority to pick which one that it complies with, but as far as the engineering, it needs to go to council for any waivers.
Right. Anything?
I would like Dave to give us a written,
We can do that. We can work with the attorney for like.
for next month.
we've been discussing, not on that topic, but we've been discussing waivers a lot lately. And maybe we should have a set, it comes here, it goes there, it comes here, or does it go there first, or does it come here? It seems like maybe we need to nail that down. Does the plan come here? The last one, it came here first, and then they went to council, so they, at least council had an idea of where planning was within, which makes sense to me, because That's not necessarily what, the planning thing is not necessarily what the council's forte is. So it just seems like we should have a process.
Well, the process, that type of process would start with council, wouldn't start here. Because you're talking about a standard that's governed by council, not governed by the planning commission. So it'd be up to the council to determine how they want to do it. They could simply be a procedural policy that they could do and just say, you know, from now on, we're not going to even entertain these until you've been through the planning commission and you get some type of advisory, because you are, by state law, this group is the main advisory body to the council. You're just given by state law, you're just given certain authorities to do site plan approval.
That's what I guess I'm saying, that's so that it's, just so, either way, that's the way I prefer it. But either way, we should have it set as part of the process. That when someone walks in the door, you know, Becky isn't saying, hey, you know, this, she's saying here.
Surrender.
I think because we've been getting similar requests recently, and this body never came to this intersection before. So let me explain in simple terms. There are zoning ordinance and then there are general ordinance. Zoning ordinance comes through the planning commission. Any waivers go to ZBA because it's zoning board of appeals. But that only touches on zoning ordinance, setbacks, coverage, landscaping, compliance with specific zoning ordinance. The engineering that we received 2 recent requests for waivers, that falls under the general village law. And only council can approve these waivers. It does not fall under zoning. So that's where the confusion, I think, comes in. So ZBA have no authority to waive any general law items, and vice versa. Council does not interfere with ZBA. So
And I
2
think-
paths.
Two, the increase has a lot to do with the work that Dana's been doing. So we're seeing a lot of businesses that have existed for an amount of time under the conditions that they're in. So they're basically asking for waivers to continue to exist as they are. I think that's just why we're seeing them.
And I think for, just to comment on the non-conforming request, that does not give them flexibility on pavement type and curb and gutter and storm and all that. That all triggers, and once they submit a site plan, it has to comply with all village standards, not just zoning.
So you're saying if they want a waiver, it needs to go to council before it ever came here? It needs to go, they need to acquire the waivers before they present them, that they're approved, before they come to us?
No, I think the normal procedure would come to planning first.
That's what I'm saying.
Planning, see a problem with certain things, so it splits. If it's under zoning, it goes to ZBA for waivers, and if it's under general law, it goes to council for waiver, and then it comes back to planning.
They're not on the same page as what you're thinking. It's not that we make the decision, it's that we hear it, so we know where it's going.
So the waivers that they're requesting now, can they go forward with those
So-
with us?
I only seen their comments about the engineering, so that they're just saying, we're not doing anything. So why are you requiring us to pave or put a curb? in?"
Right.
Because that's the village law. It says any site for any operation for a commercial, if it comes for a site plan approval, we have to make sure that it complies with current standards, not 60 years ago. That was, what's there, we don't know how old, and it's been gravel, the geometry was built in that time. That does not work right now, because the current standards calls for concrete or asphalt pavement, curb and gutter, and storm sewers, and detention basin. So in their letter dated August 20th, they only touched on the engineering side of it. If they're requesting relief from zoning, that should go to ZBA. But right now, we cannot recommend approval of the site plan as presented.
to my question, do they, for the waivers, can they go forward with those even though we haven't decided on the other side yet?
Yeah, that's totally up to you if you want.
It doesn't matter, really?
And you technically have to deny them first.
Okay, yeah, that's not one thing, okay. Okay, so then, we'll have Dave draw up opinions on the options to put in writing for everybody and work with Al on those options. And good for everybody? Okay, is there a motion to table?
Well, we're tabling D, determine what district vehicle rental?
Yes, we'd have to table both, D and E, but we'll have to do D first.
Okay. A motion to table item D, determine what district vehicle rental can exist zoning.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. And then item E, set public hearing for Wise Buy special land use 57530 Gratiot Avenue, Maiden, Michigan, 4048 parcel 260633476003. Would you like to have any discussion? Okay, is there a motion?
Motion to table?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Planners report.
I guess, I'm gonna talk myself off tonight. One thing I can say, I am surprised, I never know that you have any people coming in asking zoning questions when I'm here. If ever someone's got a neon sign says a planner's in it or something, but
We
yeah.
can get one. Like what's that?
No,
Don't
it's kind of hard when people want to know what the rules are before they start just doing things. Maybe it's an outgrowth of Dan's
Could be.
efforts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so you're good?
yeah, I'm good.
Okay, and then, public comments on non-agenda items.
And it's your Commissioners, Benoit, 5845, Pembroke. Just want to say, when I was here last time, I asked Ed Morse, electronically. I don't know if you did it. If you did, thank you. If someone did it, there's a lot more stuff in the packet on the agendas. But if you didn't do it, whoever did, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Great job.
Thank you. I think that was all I had. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
The only thing I want to comment on is, you mentioned Dan, your fire chief.
Correct.
Okay, and I want to tell you, I think he's doing a great job. Okay, he's gone through and brought down the ratings for the fire for the village, okay, which is the first time in, I don't even want to guess how many years, okay, all right, so I just wanted publicly to make a comment that I think he's doing a very good job, and you guys should know that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, call from the table. Chris?
So that I'm clear, if this proposed sale does not go through, and we revert back to the move a car, and that project somehow comes back to life, there will be no official notification of the people within that, I think it's 300-foot range or whatever it is.
There would not be, no, because we've already had the public hearing. So there's nothing else in our, he pays for that.
Sure.
Okay, so there's nothing else that we have aside from another public hearing that would
I just want to be clear.
go there.
Clear that that's what could happen 3 months from now and 6 months from now.
I mean, but it'll be put on the agenda
It is on the
and
agenda.
that'll be posted as well, so.
It would go through the normal.
Right.
So
I mean-
there will be a notification, it just won't be mailed to your home.
Anybody else? Okay, a motion to adjourn at 7:50.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.